Hey, this is Tyler from Young Guns. Today we're going to be showing you a few more techniques about the English wheel. The technique I'm going to be showing you today is the tracking of a panel. The most typical style of tracking you do on a panel is your north-south-east-west pattern, where you're doing a perpendicular cross pattern over this one piece. As you can see, whenever you do that, this little part right here I marked on the inside, this part is going to get stretched twice as much because it's getting ran over both directions. The other technique is actually is a diagonal pattern, more like this. And you can see the difference of the actual contact area, where with the diagonal I have about twice as much. What that's going to do for you is it's going to take the little areas maybe where when you were going east to west and then you go back north to south, the little areas in the corners where you might have been in between both passes, they're not going to get stretched. With this diagonal, it gives you a better chance to run over each and every single spot on the panel, making it a nice continuous curve. So what I'm going to do for you here is I got two different panels. They're relatively the exact same size, and I'm gonna run each one north, south, east, west, one diagonal, and then when I'm done wheeling them up, I'm gonna go ahead and put them on the table, and I'm gonna show you how much crown I put into each panel, and to see how even the radius is across there. So I'm gonna go ahead and load this one up. I'm gonna wipe it down like I always do, and wheel this guy out for you. Alright, so now we got that, I wheeled that 3 times, both directions. And as you can see here, we put a nice little bow into the top of this panel. So what we did is we stretched everything on the inside of this 1/2 inch frame to give a nice little bow. Now I'm going to do the second panel with the diagonal patterns on here. It's going to look a little different. But I'm going to do 3 passes on this, and then we're going to put them down and compare them and see which one has the most bow in it. Alright, so I just now finished the third pass on the second, the diagonal pattern here. And you can see that I put a bunch of bow into this panel also. So we'll set the 2 panels down next to each other. When I look at these 2 panels, I just see this one right here, the one that I did with the diagonal pattern, has the ever so much slightest little bit more bow into it than the other panel does. So you can see there it has just a little bit more bow than the other one has. But if you look at if you could see the reflections in the tops, you can see where the one where I did with the diagonal pattern is just, it's a lot more even and controlled. Where this one, the other one, I mean, it's still a really nice looking piece, but it's I can see a couple low spots where I might have missed a couple little spots in here with my tracking, but just wanted to show that there are more than one way to do almost everything, but it just depends which pattern might work best for you. If you're using something where you can only get into a real tight area, you might only be able to go north, south, east, west, or you might be able to actually be able to get into the diamond pattern, and then you can work it with your diamond pattern. You can actually take your diamond pattern and then take the north, south, east, west and run that pattern over the top of your diagonal pattern. But when you do that, you want to take a little bit of the pressure away from the wheel, and what that's going to do for you, and it's going to give you a wash pass. So you're not necessarily stretching the metal on this pass, but what you're doing is you're going to be going over with real light pressure. So if you've been going diagonally, come back and go with that north, south, east, west pattern, so that you're not really changing the shape of the panel, but what you're going to be doing is you're going to be taking those little bitty spots where they hadn't been touched yet. You're going to go ahead and evenly spread those out and make the panel a lot more smooth. One thing I did want to show you was whenever you're working with the wheel, you have each one of the wheels has a radius on it. You can see on this wheel here is much more intense compared to, say, this is the second wheel. And you'll know when you need to use the next wheel when you go up in size, because I made a little bowl here, but if you take this die and stick it down inside here, you can see where it pretty much meets up on both sides and right on the bottom. So this wheel, it's probably time to move from this wheel up to the third wheel, but I'm going to go ahead and show you what happens to your metal if you continue to work it and you don't move up in your wheels. So what you get is you're going to be working your piece, and you're going to be going through, you're going to be making it all nice and smooth, and then all of a sudden you're going to, oh man, I don't know if you can see this, but you're going to start seeing lines getting put in, and you're thinking, oh, maybe I'm holding the piece wrong. Here, I'll put a couple more in there for you. I mean, you can feel the tension. It's not moving through there very nice, but I'm going to go ahead and make it go through. So you can see there's definite lines being formed in there. And what it is that your metal is actually curved so much that it's getting pushed down by the top wheel, and it's actually hitting the outside edges of the bottom anvil. And you're going to put creases in your panel, and they're a pain to get back out. So if you ever see these marks, make sure that you're always looking at your panel and making sure that you have the right die to fit up in there for the contour. Other than that, you should be able to control your panel, the shape of all your panels, keep them nice and smooth so that you have to do hardly little to any body work whenever you actually get to that step. So if you like our tips, go ahead and keep watching and subscribe to our channel, and we hope to see you back soon.